She is 80 years old, sharp as ever, and still not afraid to speak out against injustice anywhere. Evelyn Turner and her now deceased husband Albert lived the civil rights movement.
Throughout the nation, even in Canada, there were marches through the streets of towns and cities.
My husband was the second in line, the guy with the white cap. You can see him on all the pictures. He was running, trying to help an old lady that had fallen down.
She stayed home that day. Albert Turner often told her if he got arrested or worse, her job was to take care of the kids. But the job of fighting for civil rights never ended. Albert Turner went on to form the Perry County Civil League based in Marion, Alabama, building political power in the black community.
They didn't want us to be in charge. There's more black folks in Perry County than it is white.
In 1984, Evelyn's husband Albert and fellow Civil League member named Spencer Hogue began a new absentee ballot campaign that led straight to the confrontation of her lifetime. The confrontation that brought her face to face with a man now poised to become the next Attorney General of the United States.
Every time they mention that man's name, I can't stand him.
That man's name is Jeff Sessions, Alabama's U.S. Senator, who in 1984 was the U.S. Attorney for Southern Alabama, and the man who tried to put Evelyn, her husband, and Spencer Hogue in prison for decades. They were called the Marion Three.
We were just trying to help people. We have been helping people for over, I don't know how many years.
Jeff Sessions did not see it that way, based on complaints he said came from black office holders along with black voters who said their absentee ballots had been tampered with. Sessions brought a vote fraud conspiracy case to a federal grand jury and indicted the Marion Three on 29 counts. The charges carried so much potential prison time, it still scares Evelyn Turner to this day.
If anybody gonna put you in jail for 250 years, how would you feel?
The defense attorney fact sheet said race was a factor. Our contention that this is a one-sided investigation designed to intimidate black voters. Civil rights leaders from across the country rallied behind the Marion Three. To them, it was a clear case of a U.S. attorney trying to prevent blacks in Alabama from gaining power. National figures came to their defense. Witnesses for the prosecution began changing their stories. Sessions would later explain his two-lawyer federal prosecution team was understaffed and unprepared to handle the vigorous defense. It took the jury just a few hours to return its verdict. The headline the next day would say it all: the Marion Three acquitted on all charges. Evelyn Turner, the last living member of the Marion Three, says to this day she believes the prosecution and the federal prosecutor were motivated by race.
Sessions has not changed. Have you ever known a leopard to change his spots? I haven't. Every time I see one, his spot's still there. Zebra, still striped. Sessions is still a racist.
There is another side to this story, and it comes from a most unexpected voice. Albert Turner, Jr. is Evelyn and Albert's son, now a Perry County Commissioner himself, and he supports Jeff Sessions for the next U.S. Attorney General.
I feel that he's qualified for the position, and I think that he has not shown any reason to me when it comes to the prosecution of my father and my mother and Mr. Hogue, that should not be the reason he should not be confirmed.
Turner says the case against the Marion Three developed from local Perry County political infighting, not racism, and not Jeff Sessions, he says. Blacks in power and a white district attorney just wanted his dad out of politics.
In part, it was you had blacks who didn't like my father, who felt that he was too influential in this community when it came to politics and other aspects of Perry County's life, and they sought to make sure that his influence was diminished by putting him in jail.
A spokesperson for Jeff Sessions says what happened in the failed federal prosecution of the Marion Three is simple.
Sessions again was bringing this case on behalf of officials in his state who had thought that an election wasn't fair. So he went forward, and a majority of the jury, of their peers, found them innocent. The system worked.
No, I don't think Jeff Sessions did it because my father was black and he was trying to do anything to harm blacks.
But there was harm done, and Albert Turner Jr.'s 80-year-old mother can't bring herself to forgive what Jeff Sessions did, prosecuting the Marion Three.
He never said, "I'm sorry, Miss Turner, I put you through that it was my job." He haven't told me that. And why should I forgive him? But I know in order for me to get to heaven, I'm going to have to forgive him, but I'll never forget. As long as I stay black, I will not forget it.
So, Drew, the mom believes that Sessions is a racist who tried to destroy her family, yet her own son supports him.
Albert Turner Jr. really does say Jeff Sessions back in 1984 was being pressured to bring these charges, Anderson, based on political infighting in this county in Alabama. The FBI actually thought they had a case. It really fell apart at trial. But since then, as county commissioner, Turner says he's gotten along with Sessions. The senator has always been there to listen to his concerns, he says. So I think, politically speaking, these two politicians have since worked together. But as you can see, his mother bristles at the mere mention of Jeff Sessions' name.
And how's it affected their relationship?
Clearly, it is strained, especially over this nomination. Albert Turner wants his mom to forgive Jeff Sessions, but also knows 30 years plus later, it really hurts her. It's hard on both of them.
And Sessions, has he apologized ever?
Mrs. Turner says Sessions tried to actually give her a hug at a ceremony honoring civil rights leaders in Washington once. It was a ceremony Sessions actually helped set up. She rebuffed him, she told us. I'm not sure she would accept an apology. She says she certainly has not gotten one. Anderson?
All right, Drew Griffin. Drew, thanks.